My guest tonight is a CNN anchor and a 60 Minutes correspondent. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Anderson Cooper, everybody. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
First of all, I just want to say I like casual Anderson.
Yeah?
Yeah, we don't always get casual Anderson. I like it.
That's what I'm going for.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the decision about the collar, inside the sweater, outside the sweater, where's that? Where do you land on
originally
that?
I was going to wear a white T-shirt under this, and I thought, you know what, for Stephen, I'm going to go with a collared shirt. Yeah.
You know, I'm a traditionalist. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
I questioned whether I should have a tie or not, but I figured, you know what, we're still sort of in COVID. I mean, you can't expect everything.
That's an instant mask if you need it. That's what I like about the tie. Last time I spoke to you, you were in Ukraine.
Yes, yeah.
And we all see the terrible news coming from there. What is it like to, having been on location and seeing what's going on in a country under this monstrous invasion, and then to come back to the United States to sort of what you might call normal life?
Yeah.
For you and all the other journalists who've gone over there from CNN, what is that experience like?
It's always hard. I mean, the fact that you can be in one place where horrific things are happening and get on a plane and in a short amount of time be back here where life goes on as normal and you know, people are paying attention and people know about what's going on, but it's a very strange thing. You feel guilty about leaving a place where people are suffering, and then you
knowing that they can't leave.
Right, knowing they can't leave, and that you have this luxury of being able to drop in and then leave and come back to your family, and you know, my kids are provided for, and my friends aren't, you know, burying their parents in their backyards, and we're not at risk of having our buildings blown up at night, and you know, all of that it's a strange thing to kind of go between.
Well, let's talk about the heartbreaking images we're seeing out of Bucha this week, and the clear war crimes being perpetrated by Putin's forces over there. Do you think that will actually make a difference in the international response? Have you heard any of that in your reporting?
I don't think it changes the facts on the ground in terms of what the U.S. level of support is. I mean, obviously, what is happening with the images that have come out of this town, Bucha, and are things that are likely happening in other towns as well that Russia has occupied. It is horrific, and it certainly is evidence of war crimes, and there are already prosecutors on the ground in Ukraine looking into that, and people gathering evidence, and all the pictures we see on the news, all of that is potential evidence in an international war crimes trial. Which is, you know, very possible sometime probably in the very distant future. I mean, usually these things take a long time, and there's no way to, you know, arrest Vladimir Putin as long as he stays in Russia. But I don't know that it changes the willingness of the U.S. to, you know, to provide different form of weaponry or to provide different kinds of support on the ground or European countries.
So we here in the United States and in Western democratic republics have access to that information. Right. From what you know of your contacts in Russia and the people that you've spoken to over in Ukraine, what are the Russian people getting? And how ironclad is this bubble that they're in?
It's funny, they're in a bubble. I mean, they're you know, unless you have access to a VPN line and can get information that's not, you know, that's not accessible to ordinary Russians, you're in kind of, your news is siloed in Russia. And there's a lot of support for Vladimir Putin. And there's a lot of people who, even if they knew what was going on in Ukraine, would be supportive of it in Russia because they support Putin and they believe his portrayal of events on the ground there. I can't tell you how many Ukrainians I spoke to who have a parent in Russia, and they've called up their parent from a bomb shelter, you know, as their building is being destroyed, to say, you know, tell their parent what is happening, and the parent doesn't believe them because the parent watches Russian news and thinks, you know, what are you talking about? There's no reason you need to be in a bomb shelter. They're not attacking civilians. So it's extraordinary in this day and age how information can still be siloed. I mean, look, we have plenty of people in this country who believe the last election was stolen and that, attacking the Capitol was totally legitimate. So, misinformation is everywhere. But, people have the access to information here if they wanted. They're just choosing not to believe it. People do not even have access.
What about the impact of the sanctions over in Russia? What we heard today, the administration announced even more economic sanctions against Russia, some individuals, some banking institutions.
Vladimir Putin's 2 acknowledged daughters.
Right, exactly. So do we have any sense of, they're trying to force, it seems, they're trying to force a default by Russia. Really, would be absolute crushing. That would crush their economy for a decade. It's already in pretty bad shape. Russia's already the poorest European country. Right. Do we have any sense of, A, who that's mostly affecting, and B, whether that effect has any effect? Can the Russian people in any way manage up?
Yeah, look, I mean, they've imposed huge sanctions on Russia, inflation in Russia.
Unprecedented sanctions.
Unprecedented.
And faster than ever.
Yes, absolutely true. And Europe is more unified, with the United States. The NATO alliance is stronger than ever before. In this, as for now. But look, the sanctions, the inflation is going through the roof in Russia. I saw some estimates of it's gone up, 2% each week, which is pretty crushing. That being said, Russia makes about $1 billion a day from oil and gas sales, mostly to European nations. And the sanctions have not attacked those sales. And so as long as Russia is making $1 billion a day, that's what's funding the war. And that's not an easy solution to fix. And
it's like saying I'm going to boycott this gas station by not buying the air freshener.
Yes,
but I'll still get the gas.
And look, the United States doesn't want energy prices to rise around the world because that will fuel inflation here. So the United States has, reasons to not go after energy sales from Russia fully, and also to keep the European allies together. Many European countries receive a large amount of their oil and gas or even natural gas from Russia, and that's something that if you want to keep the alliance together, they're not able to give up so easily. So that money is still flowing into Russia. So whatever the sanctions are, and they have certainly been very, very hurtful to the Russian economy, there's still a lot of money coming into Moscow.
We have to take a break, but when we come back, I will ask Anderson Cooper about life with his new son, Sebastian. Stick around.